I'm not perfect, God, neither are you. Tell these salty motherfuckers to tell the truth. Tell politicians to give up the rooms. Tell silent voters to stand up to the booth.
God, it's me. Can you hear my plea? Feeling like I'm lost in this world, can't you see? Demons creeping in, trying to take control of me. But I'm just trying to find the light, trying to break free. I'm not perfect, God, neither are you. But why you keep forgetting me? What did I do? Trying to have a convo, but you starting to preach. Feeling like I'm on a leash. Can't find no peace, find no peace. Living in hell, can't you hear my plea? I'm suffocating, can't you see? Why you let these false prophets roam free? While the will run suffer, can't you see? I'm not perfect, God, neither are you. Why you keep targeting me? What did I do? Trying to have a convo, but you starting to preach. Feel like I'm on a leash, can't find no peace.
Hardest battles, strongest soldiers, greatest burden, broadest shoulders, pushing up just like these boulders. See conflict like it's water, so this mercy, take my chalice, seeking grace through all this malice. All of these salty motherfuckers could give up.
Politics and sinners, they all the same. Got me stuck in this endless game. But I won't give up, won't play the role. Gotta do what's best
for my soul.
I'm not perfect, God, neither are you. Tell these salty motherfuckers to tell the truth. Tell these politicians to give up the room. Tell silent voters to stand up to the booth. Living wild but truthfully free. God keep on watching over me. Take my pleas and keep the receipts. I just want all.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. You already know how I start this independent music. Here goes Don Tripp, Eddie Valero, Old Dog, and Kane, and I'll be right back right after this.
Yeah, keep all the ad-libs on there and just take the first one off. Yeah. How you broke the wrist, boy, how you cook like this? Yeah. This shit overstood, don't never need to explain. Wayne Gretzky hit the puck, we play hockey games on the chain. Triple cross, know the demons, I'm active, I still bang. Walk them down, get them flush with a menace, Old Dog and Kane.
It's the kind of feeling you get when you count it up. It hit different when you know you done made it up out the mud. If you take a look at my reputation, I ain't a smudge. We see how you really make when it's time to go fight the judge.
God forgive, but no I don't, I'm the type that's gon' hold a grudge. Hit the gym 4 times a week for my mental, work off the pudge. Take a leave it, nigga, my price is my price, no I can't budge. See my big brother chop cookies, my little rich like Elmer Fudge. Yeah, jump up every day and go and get it, ain't no playing around. Church without no AC, he got caught, walked up and found him down. Vegan bitch, super cute, ass shots, bundles look sandy brown. Rap hustle shit cool until it pop, I'm hand to hand in pounds. 2 strands feeling good, got me like that, just left my hair appointment. Found out what you work, slick broke my heart, you should be disappointed. Snowballs in my earlobes, Christmas Eve look like a pair of ornaments. Flex different, holding up dog shit, look like I'm double jointed. This shit overstood, don't never need to explain. Wayne Gretzky hit the puck, we play hockey games on the chain. Triple cross, know the demons, I'm active, I still bang. Walk them down, get them flush with a menace, Old Dog and Kane.
It's the kind of feeling you get when you count it up. It hit different when you know you done made it up out the mud. If you take a look at my reputation, I ain't a smudge. We see how you really made when it's time to go fight the judge. When indictments hit, you find out how niggas is really cut. He got caught up with that switching, now niggas is switching up. Maybe it's just me, but where I'm from, it's that before dishonor. Niggas pointing fingers so they can make it home to their baby mama. Grandmama then went put up her house to burn your ass out. You went on the run and left your granny out here assed out. You selfish nigga, you ain't got no spine so you can't help it really. I put all my dogs on their feet, you ain't never felt the feeling. I go work my fingers so my folks ain't living hand to mouth. Mama brought us hand-me-downs, but we ain't get no handouts. Stand up, God, there ain't no way I'm ever standing down. The way I run this shit look like I planned it out. Long lip pill.
Trip, Eddie Valero, O-Dog, and Kane. So much that, especially that I want to talk about this morning. You know, yesterday in Minneapolis, I shouldn't even say Minneapolis, in St. Paul, they had a bus, school bus full of kids, uh, went into, I believe it was Hamline University. 3 kids ended up going to the hospital. And it's like, damn, you know, just noticing that because I believe I was on the phone with my mom, and I was telling her about it. Then it came on in the news last night, and I was like, because since my stroke or whatever, I'd be thinking I saw something, but maybe I didn't, but it was it was it or whatever. So I want to start with that on how I don't even know how any of that was possible for the. I'll just get into the story.
We start with breaking news at 6 and the school bus crash that sent 3 kids and an adult to the hospital. This school bus smashed into a building on the Hamline University campus in St. Paul just after 2 o'clock. Kamaria Bray has been on the scene now for hours. She joins us live with what we've learned so far. Dramatic footage, Kamaria.
Yeah, Lindsay, in a very scary situation for the students on that bus. And we're told that those students went to Higher Ground Academy, a charter school here in St. Paul. And we talked to a man who saw the whole thing. He says the bus jumped the curb and made its way towards that brick building. We see tire tracks right here, buckled grass, and that brick building that now has a hole in it. There are restoration crews right there boarding it up. And that man we talked to says he didn't just stand by and watch. He actually stepped in to help.
Suddenly the bus came over the bridge doing like 40 miles an hour. When he jumped this median and he wiped out the light pole and came right across here, wiped out this thing and went right into the building. And when he hit the building, all you could hear was kids screaming, and we took off.
Charlie Smith walks us through what he witnessed when a school bus with a dozen kids on board crashed into Hamline University Science Building.
3 of us that went in and got the kids off the bus and, getting the kids out the way, trying to get the kids and help the kids get off. They was hurt.
Police say 3 children and the driver were rushed to the hospital with minor injuries.
All you could hear was screaming.
The university says no one inside was hurt, but the crash impact was felt.
All of a sudden, a big boom, like something exploded. Shook the whole building. I got scared. She got scared.
I was in my office, but I heard it.
What did it sound like?
It sounded like a bomb.
And right now we are looking at a piece of the front of the bus as well as the Hamline University sign. The bus crashed into that sign as well. And the bus company is Pride Transportation Bus Services. Police are still investigating what happened, but we also talked to the university, who says that no one inside the building was hurt and that the campus is closed for the rest of the day. I'm Kamaria Bray, live in St. Paul. 508.
Yeah, so that was wild. That was, yeah. I mean, it's not every day you see a bus going into a university, especially when it went into a building. That to me is crazy in its own self. That I'm hoping that, I know there was some injuries. I know nobody was they died from it, but there was kids on the bus. And that definitely is things that we should I don't know much about the bus company. I don't know if they're licensed or if they had all that in place. I'm sure they did, but that's just kind of sad that you supposed to be able to send your kids to school and not worry about these kind of things. And that's not the world that we live in anymore. There's too many people that are selfish. There is too many communities that care about themselves and try not to remain or to be nosy, and that's what we really need. I'm not saying people should be nosy, but if you see something, say something, do something. You know what I'm saying? So that's just the part that I don't really truly understand. It's like how, as human beings, can see others go through things and not feel some type of way. I'm not saying that we have to have sympathy. I'm saying be empathetic. Be empathetic. You know, put yourself in their shoes. I don't know a lot of the situations when it comes to, you know, the homeless people. I just know that I see a lot. Uh, you know, people think that a lot of it has to do with drugs and, you know, mental illness. And a lot of the people that are actually homeless, they actually work. They're not all just drug addicts or mental health rejects or, you know, I shouldn't even have said that, but it's not like that. Those are people there's people out here that are homeless that actually go to work every day and do what they're supposed to do. It's the fact that we don't pay a living wage. I mean, that's just real shit. If you live out in the rural areas, I mean, you'll see that like 750 to 800. But when you go into like the bigger cities, Rochester, you know, you get up there and it's insane rent prices. I've seen anywhere from people that pay like 1,500 to anywhere to like 3,000, 4,000. It's like, damn. Like, I mean, I'm glad that people can afford that, but it's like, why are people that are paying that type of rent aren't trying to buy their own house? You know, and that's where I see like the biggest gap is it is financial, and a lot of it has to do with generational wealth. Uh, you know, first of all, when it comes to, you know, impoverished and poor communities that have, I mean, you go back, I was just talking to my mom about this yesterday. Um, Even, you know, what I'm about to talk about next is like the George Floyd Square and all the shit that, you know, growing up, um, that I would see in many like Sonny's or like even the Sears Tower on Chicago. It's not even the Sears Tower anymore. It's apartments and different restaurants, and it's like the things that were there when uh like the 80s and 90s, it's not there anymore. I mean, it's so hard for businesses to get off the ground. I won't even say get off the ground, but be able to prosper. I mean, look at how all these small businesses are closing down. Even you have big box companies, corporations closing down because COVID changed a lot. COVID changed a lot, and people still don't want to have conversations exorbitant and so many programs and services that are supposed to help people, but are being wastefully and fraudulent, and that's still going on, and nobody seems to care about that. It's like we have so many issues that need to be addressed, and people don't want to address it. They don't want to have conversations about it. They just want to act like it's not going on, or they have that thinking of, oh, it's not, I don't want that in my backyard, you know, the NIMBY, not in my backyard. So again, I'm going to talk about George Floyd Square. 6 years later, and we can't even agree as a community of what should be there. And it comes down to, I'm going to say it again, money. It comes down to money. I mean, the things, I don't even know. I see the development over there. They got like so many different plans and are, you know, uses for it. And I'm like, does the community really need that? I mean, we need to ungentrify that area. And we do need to make it different. I know they're closing the streets. I think it's on June 8th. They're closing it down and starting to work on which they haven't even agreed on a plan yet. But so it did come up yesterday in the committee. Mayor Jacob Frey did award Minnesota Agape movement the rights to the People's Way, which, if people don't know what the People's Way is, that is the gas station that used to be, believe it was a Super America Before it was a Super America, it was a Speedway, or maybe I said that backwards. And then before all that, it was a 7-Eleven, which you had the gas station right here, and then you had Cup Foods right across the street. I mean, those were two staples in the community. You had the little fish. I don't know if he's been there for very, very like Smoking the Pit was there back then. I don't remember that. I remember the laundromat was there. Um, Edward and Reed's business. There was another mechanic kind of shop things over there, and that little back in the I shouldn't say back in maybe it is back in the day, but I just know that it we talked about this maybe it was last week or Saturday when Don Allen, Rev, and Anthony did that interview with Bridget Stewart, and they were talking about the square, and it's crazy of like that area. There used to be a YMCA over there, but not a YMCA, Boys and Girls Club. You had Potter Park, the elementary school, Hans Christian, or well, not Hans Christian, never mind. Whoops. Laura Ingalls Wilder was right on there on 34th. That's where I went to school. And I went to elementary. I played on Powderhorn football teams, baseball. I remember going to watch fireworks every July 4th in Powderhorn, because Powderhorn was a big ass park. I mean, Powderhorn was a big, the big old hill behind Laura Ingalls Wilder right there when it came off of Chicago. Then you got Park Avenue. The little church was over there. Man, and it was such a great time. It wasn't definitely nowhere divided like it is now. I mean, you literally have, I don't even know how people are even being peaceful to each other anymore, because like I get it, it all comes down to money. And even when we see things that are going on within the city, these aren't Republican groups. These are all, you either have Democrats or the DSA. There is no Republicans at I shouldn't say there is none. There isn't just any elected officials. And that's being honest. It really comes down to the socialists, the moderates, and the progressives. That's literally what it is in Minneapolis. And I know people don't want to have a discussion about that, but that's what it really is. So when people say the Republicans haven't had any say in the last like 30, 40 years in Minneapolis when it has to do with the city council, the mayor, they haven't had any kind of Republican control. I won't even say control, any say. That has literally been, you look at the biggest cities in America, you go to New York, they just got a socialist mayor in there. You look at Chicago, ran by Democrats. Baltimore, ran by Democrats. I mean, you got to look at some of the biggest cities in the Midwest and the northern, parts of America are in Democrat-ran areas. You go down into, Iowa, I think it is South Dakota, they're Republican. Iowa's Republican. Wisconsin is kind of a little bit different. They have the, Tony Evers as the governor, and then their House and I believe their Senate is all run by Republicans. So it's weird, but that just shows you that the more population in the areas, they can literally control your whole state. I mean, you have to look at it in St. Paul, right? 10 of that little counties in the Twin Cities, they make up for all. I believe it's like 51% of the voters, and it's like people don't even realize that it's like the biggest voting blocks are in the Twin Cities. So you have to look at those areas. I mean, I'll even let me play this for you first about George Floyd Square, and I'm going to show you because I seen something last night because yesterday was the end of the filing for candidacy, and I think there was like 41 districts that DFLers had nobody running against them. None. It's like, what? How are you supposed to make change if people aren't willing? I just didn't understand it, because it's like, how you can't turn the state red if nobody puts themselves in there and to feel uncomfortable. And I think that really is the problem. So let me get into this George Floyd Square.
Well, construction is about to begin at George Floyd Square, but only for the road and intersection. June 8th is the start date, and the area will be closed to traffic during this time. Completion is expected in 2027. But there is still some ongoing discussion about the rest of the project, which is the People's Way. The mayor has recommended the Agape movement as the development partner on this, but today that got denied by a council committee. So Fox 9's Karen Scullen joining us now live to explain what happens now. So Karen, what is the latest with this?
Right. Keep in mind, we are talking 6 years now since the killing and unrest at George Floyd Square. And now it looks like we are, in fact, back to square one with this committee denying the mayor's recommendation for the Agape movement. So it possibly starts all over again. Now, after first considering sending the issue back to staff for further study, for review, for more conversation, the committee ultimately denied the Agape recommendation, which could mean the entire 1.5-year process to choose a development partner starts over. The council members who represent the GFS area in South Minneapolis think a survey that was taken where 800 people responded and voted for another group called Rise and Remember to get the deal should be the deciding factor. The city says they used that as a tool, but that survey was never the only factor.
Further, those who took the survey felt that Rise and Remember was most likely to honor the site significance and foster community ownership. Despite what the survey results have showed us on the council and the community, and despite these results being ready in April 2025, a decision was made to go against the community by choosing Agape. Councilmember Stevenson and I are urging our colleagues to oppose this proposal and to support this motion to return back to staff. That way, we can address the issues at hand and build a People's Way proposal that actually affects our community.
Now, again, it was actually turned out to be a denial. I spoke to the city staffer afterwards. He said that Agape, he believed, just had a better team overall. He indicated it was just a stronger team overall, and that's why they went with Agape. But it's not all lost, because this still has to be voted on by full council. So the denial that the committee did still has to be voted on by full council. We'll see what happens there at the next council meeting. But again, this was a 1.5-year process to even get to this point where the city found a partner that they wanted to work with. So that 1.5 years could start over again, and then it looks like the project itself, when you're talking about design and building, could be another 3 years after that. So it appears, are a very long way off before we see any kind of completion on the People's Way project. But again, council does have to vote on today's denial. We're live in Minneapolis. Karen Scullen, Fox 9.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they're back to could potentially be back to square one, and it's supposed to start June 8th, the construction. So, again, I don't know watch what's going on in Minneapolis. So it's been since this happened on Saturday, it has been a hot topic, and I believe that it should. I know Republicans, even some Republicans are split on this. And I will just say it like this, that to me, it was never really about, at first it was, but now it's really not. I know more about like what happened to Zoya, what happened to Jonathan Pope. So I really see the Derek Chauvin, just not about like George Floyd. So when people tell me that, oh, he should be pardoned or he should be, I'll say, well, fuck George. I know It's not so much for me about George Floyd. What about Zoya? What about Jonathan Pope, a 14-year-old black boy? Zoya, a single mother, and did those exact same things that he did to George Floyd. So people can argue all day back and forth, and I think that is the biggest. And to me, honestly, you have Republicans swaying on this. They're not standing on what they said and what happened. You have a lot of people pointing fingers at this person, at that person. And really, we just have a candid conversation about this. They want to, this is the crazy thing that I don't understand is how different people can view Derek Chauvin. That's just, to me, that blue wall of silence. That blue line, and to me, that's part of the problem. We all think that, these police officers are good, and whatever you may think or believe about, like, George Floyd, think about the other victims. They didn't die. They're still here to be able to tell their stories. So, because, yeah, they are split on this, and it is kind of crazy. So let me get into Republican leaders respond to moment of silence for Derek Chauvin at the convention this last weekend.
This is Breaking the News. I'm Janice Shortle. So over the weekend, the state's DFL and GOP conventions came and went with the nominees for the parties being kind of expected in some aspects. But one part of the Republican convention is getting a lot of pushback today. It was a moment of silence for the man who murdered George Floyd, Derek Chauvin. Ken spent all this all day, has a lot to tell us. Ken?
Jana, the state Republican Party made it clear to me today that leadership did not support this motion and that it wasn't part of the official program. So we wanted to know how it happened. I spoke to Representative Danny Nadeau about that very thing. Now, he was presiding over the convention Saturday morning before he says nearly half of delegates had arrived, and most in the media hadn't either. In fact, we can't find video of what happened next, but he confirmed that a moment of silent prayer did happen at the prompting of one delegate.
This particular delegate, and I don't know his name, the delegate stood up and made a motion for a moment of silent prayer for Derek Chauvin. He came up and stood in front of the podium and asked if he could do it, and I recommended at that point that he not, but it's his right to be able to do that, as it is any other delegate at that convention, and so he did. And the motion was not out of order. It was seconded. I put it to the body. The body voted. And we took a very short moment of silent prayer for Derek Chauvin.
How would you have voted?
I'd prefer, I would like say, who would I prefer for governor? And as a co-chair, I have worked really hard to be, nonpartisan, I guess, in this. And so, I don't think that matters. This was not a party function. This was not on the agenda. This wasn't a planned thing. It was a motion that was brought by a delegate at that time.
But it wasn't just one delegate that voted this through and observed this moment of silence, correct?
That is correct. And again, the nomenclature is important. It wasn't a moment of silence. It was a moment of silent prayer. And that, I think, is important. I've never heard of anyone, justifying the fact that, that George Floyd was murdered. And I believe in our justice system. And I think our justice system, worked in this case. A jury of peers, they weighed the evidence, they addressed the facts, and they brought an adjudication.
Do you wish someone had stepped up to at least push for clarity or to push back a little bit then?
I do.
Now, since that interview, which took place this morning, a man claiming to be the delegate who made the motion took to YouTube to clarify exactly what he did. Now, his name is Christopher Rocco, and despite what you just heard from Representative Nadeau, he made it clear that he does dispute what happened in court.
Derek Chauvin and the four other officers were innocent, and their voices have been lost, drowned out by the cult of the Minnesota DFL. I brought the motion so that hopefully it sparks a conversation on injustice.
And Rocco went on to show a sign that he held up, he says, at the convention calling on a federal pardon for Chauvin and a state retrial. And that is certainly sparking a conversation for the party nominees for governor. I'll have more on how they are reacting next. Welcome back. The Minnesota Republican Party says it did not support a so-called silent moment of prayer for Derek Chauvin, the convicted murderer of George Floyd, that took place at its state convention on Saturday. But despite lasting only about 10 seconds, the party's new nominee for governor, Kendall Qualls, is now being asked about it, especially since the delegate who says he's behind it is calling for a state retrial. Here's how Qualls responded to what happened this weekend today.
But I was surprised, actually, when it did happen. If I had to make a decision around something like that, I would have honored all law enforcement officers, number one. They've been made to be scapegoats for the last 8 to 10 years. And I would have had a moment's silence for officers that have fallen on duty. There are some concerns that people have about the Chauvin case. I don't know if that was the best venue to do that.
Now, today, we also heard from 2 other Republican candidates who will challenge Qualls in the Republican primary. MyPillow founder Mike Lindell and Philip Parrish. Parrish suspended his campaign for governor and filed to be Lindell's lieutenant governor today. They both told me that they were not in the room when the Chauvin motion was made this weekend, but Parrish had thoughts on it.
At this time, I can tell you Derek should be released.
Oh, yeah. Why is that?
His prosecution was not lawful.
What's your response to the Derek Chauvin?
I'm not responding to you. You guys are trying to do a hit job on us here for this. So there's my answer. Were you there? You asking me, was I in that room for that? No, I was not.
Lisa Damath has not commented on the prayer and has yet to say if she will run in the Republican primary. Jana.
Kent, I want to pick up on something that Kendall Qualls said. That was something I heard from 2 Republican strategists today when I had conversations with them about it. There could have been a moment of prayer for Jamal Mitchell, for the first responders in Burnsville who lost their lives. There are officers who deserve that moment. It's just an odd choice to do this one.
You know, and Nadeau said that to me as well today, that he pushed back on even entering this motion because he had said that this isn't a typical kind of venue to have moments like this, moments of prayer or moments of silence, especially at that point in the convention. But again, he says it wasn't his place to say it couldn't happen, and it certainly went forward.
Well, it's certainly taken up a lot of space today. Kent, thank you for your reporting on this, very thorough.
I want to say something, first of all. I didn't know Philip Parrish ever thought that. I didn't know that I'm going to reach out to him today and have a conversation with Phil about the whole Derek Chauvin thing. You know, I was out there. I want to know what was unlawful about it, first of all. Because you're not going to get any votes saying this type of shit. Let's be honest. You're not. There was plenty of proof that Derek did some fucked up ass shit. It's our system's fault. That's what the whole crazy thing to me is, right? Katie Blackwell has done the MRT move. Derek has done it to other people. And it was like, just because George Floyd died, you know, and I seen that video, and that's what turned me. I will say this, right? I saw the Richfield, and I can't remember. Oh, Brian Quinones. I watched that. That happened, and that didn't. It kind of moved me, but it didn't move me like it did when I saw George Floyd video. That's what made me want to get out here, because I was tired. You know, I had seen the O.J. Simpson. I had seen even before that. I had seen the God, I can't think of his name right now, but it was done on video. You know, in Los Angeles. God, I can't think of his name. Rodney King, and I saw that. You know, and then getting even into the Black Lives Movement. that's when I came to find out more about like Tamir Rice or Emmett Till. And even in that journey, I found out about my own uncle, who was not only executed once, but twice. And there was no way he could have committed the crime. And the only thing that he was guilty of was the color of his skin. They didn't like that. That was back in a time where Black people were not treated fairly. This was back in 1947. And it fucked my family up. I do really believe it fucked the Neal family up. Not only just the Neal family, but the Francis, the Gage, and so many others that are part of the Francis tree. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, that's when people start to talk about like reparations. Oh, we should get it because of slavery. And like, listen, there's enough fucked up ass shit that has happened to Black Americans here in America. We can go back to Black Wall Street. We can go back to all the racial reckonings that they had of cities, Black cities. So I just really do think like it's a lot of bullshit to me. Like I said, I will reach out to Phil today. I didn't know he said that. But I will definitely reach out to, I'm going to have a conversation with them, because I truly don't believe that he knows everything about the whole Derek Chauvin thing. So I want to get into, because AK put this out here, right? He says, shout out to the delegate who asked for a moment of prayer for Derek Chauvin, a victim of government weaponization. AK goes on to say, I was proud to stand with 2,000 plus fellow delegates and pray for Derek's safety and that he will be successful in seeking a new trial. I'll say it like this. I may have a whole different way of thinking. I'm not Black Lives Matter. I'm not Democratic. I'm a conservative who still is saying that, listen, let's take George Floyd out of this shit and we can talk about Jonathan Pope and Zoya Code and all the other people. I think there was like 2 more people that have won successful lawsuits against the city of Minneapolis because of Derek Chauvin's behavior. Is that wrong? No, it's not wrong. But let's have a conversation about the bullshit he was doing in Minneapolis. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the whole fucked up part for me, is like, how can I call myself a Republican when, here's the fucked up thing for me, right? Is I have a lot of Republicans that don't like me. That don't like me because they think I'm too ghetto, or they think I'm too street, or they think I'm this, they think I'm that, and I don't give a fuck. I do not give a fuck. I'm going to still stand up for what I believe in. I'm a conservative. I'm not okay. Here's the thing that I don't think people fully understand. Happy Nuclear Month, while I say it too. Happily Nuclear Family Month. Juneteenth is this month. Because I don't want to do all the extra cosplay and all this extra bullshit, right? God made 2 genders, Adam and Eve. He didn't make an Adam and Steve, and he didn't make an Amy and Eve. He made an Adam and Eve. And I know there's a lot of people that don't believe in the Bible. I know there's a lot of people that have different beliefs when it comes to like Joseph Smith. They're Mormons, or you have Muhammad, where they're Muslims. How come they're still in the tomb? Jesus is not. Make it make sense to me. So that's false prophets, and I'll stand on that shit. That's false prophets. That's why when I look at a lot of these Muslims, y'all niggas don't even really believe in that shit. Y'all out here drinking. Y'all don't even actually do what Muslims across the waters do. So to me, I don't even understand it. It's like people have I don't even get it, because we just do different shit when it comes to religions. And people all want to say that they do the religions. Like, no, you don't. How can y'all call yourselves Muslims if you still drink liquor, if you smoke weed? That's what I want to know. How can you call yourself a Muslim? Because in the Quran, even this the whole thing I don't even understand about these BLM ass niggas who are Muslims, right? How can y'all condone that gay shit? That's the one thing I don't even understand. Y'all condone niggas fucking other niggas that look like or are dressed up as women. Make it make sense. That's the shit that I don't get. And how are you a Christian and you're okay with that? I'm not here to judge. I'm not here to judge. I know people are telling me, oh, you're judging. No, I'm not judging. I'm just tired of us making more laws for people to feel comfortable, for people to feel like they're a part. You're already a part. You just want to do some extra shit so that people accept you. Man, this is the whole thing that I don't understand, and I think this is one of the biggest problems in America. We don't try to get people to understand. They just want to force the shit down people's throats. This is one of the biggest problems that I have when it comes to, can't put any other shit in front of black and think that we're gonna let it's all right. No, we're not. Like, that's when people fully have to understand, like, we're different. We're different. Like, I just don't understand that. He says AK is a joke, a loser, at best not achieved anything. Yeah, I don't like AK, and I'm going to keep it 100. And I think where the most fucked up thing in the Republican Party is, you have the so-called establishment who actually I'll say controls the party, right? Even though I think it's bullshit. Because I wanted to show you another thing. There was and actually I'll see it. I know it was posted on here too. Not communities. What was I looking at? Online French bookmarks. Because I had another one in here from Mark York.
After the great clicker meltdown at last weekend's state Republican convention, many delegates and activists from around the state. Some days you're a general, some days you're a janitor. After the great clicker meltdown at last weekend's state Republican convention, many delegates and activists from around the state have questioned the results of the convention and asked me to continue on to a primary. I am not going to do that. I made a promise at the beginning of my campaign for U.S. Senate that I would seek and abide by the party's endorsement for U.S. Senate, and that's exactly what I plan to do. I'm a man of my word. But also, we only have 3.5 months before the early voting begins in the general election here in Minnesota. It is critical that we get behind one set of candidates as soon as possible so they have the runway to be ready for November and to win. I therefore am stepping out of the race, but I'm not going away. If you would like me to speak at any events or volunteer, please let me know. I also plan to host a fundraiser or two for some of the endorsed candidates I am supporting. So to my friends, you have been warned. Above all, I want to keep fighting for the conservative cause, for individual liberties, for economic opportunity, and for good governance. I plan to continue the fight, but for now, if you'll excuse me, I have to go pick some rock. Some days you're a general, some days you're...
I don't know. I know everybody has a different, some people think Clickergate. I mean, I will say it like this, right? A lot of people went up to Duluth thinking that they were going to be able to do the right thing, thinking they were going to be able to get the next governor, get the next state auditor, get these endorsements out, right? But to me, I'll keep it 100. A lot of this wasn't even. I think the whole Clickergate thing was unfair. They already knew that the results, and I will say this, that they kept on voting for the clickers or whatever. So, but I still believe that they didn't like. Here's my thing of it is people should just go to the primary, right? We're way past. We're way past. Yeah, so here you go. We're way past trying to, because I don't think you're gonna get, even when it goes to the primary, right? I don't think that there's one candidate that everybody agrees on. And I do believe that's part of the problem. And I mean, just look at this when it comes to U.S. Senator. You have Bob Carney, Cynthia Gale, Ahmad Hassan, Joyce Lacey, Patrick Munro, Muhammad Muse, Adam Schwartz, Michelle Tafoya, Tom Wheeler. Those are all Republicans, right? And then you have in the Democrats, Kurt Anderson, Angie Craig, Peggy Flanagan, George Catherer, Peter, I don't know what the hell his last name is, Billy Nord. Yeah, that's it. Some of these people filed way early. Some filed really late. But you go to District 1, you got Brad Finstad, Greg, that's where I live, Gregory Goldsman, Oliver Moreland. And then for the DFL, you got Jake Johnson and Alex Eaton. District 2, and then I know I did it the other day too, but there goes Eric Pratt. You got 2 Republicans running in District 3. District 4, you got 3 Republicans. District 5, you got 1, 2, 3, 4 Republicans. Then you got, I think, 5. So yeah, this is the interesting district. This is Minneapolis, one of the biggest congressional districts. One that is, I believe that you will see I think there'll be a tighter race in the primary than there will be in the general. And that's really sad to say, but that's the truth. When it comes to CD5, Dahlia, she ran, I believe, in 2024. John Nagel, I don't really know who he is. I do see his stuff. Angie Winhauser, I don't know who that is. Abby Ziska, I don't know who that is either. Then we got Julie Trang, Athena McKenzie, Ilan Omar, Latanya Reeves, and then Nate Schuler. I do see Ilan Omar's stuff. I do see Latanya Reeves. Yeah, so I don't really see. And what I want people to watch in these primaries for this race, right, is watch the votes. See how many people actually vote in the primary for their candidate, because I do believe that mark is going to drop down a little bit when it comes in November. It will not be the same because people are going to feel disheartened because their candidate didn't move on or wasn't even like given a fair shot. That's what I see with a lot of these races, or like, yeah, I don't even know. You have so many people running for certain things, and then there's so many districts or even Senate. I'm trying to think how many there was. There's an independent in District 2. That's Senate. So yeah, Mark Johnson and then Brian Soderberg. District 2, Kelvin Larson, Steve Green. I think I already did this one too. So everybody there will have somebody. Probably going on to the generals, because I don't think they ain't got nobody to primary against. District 5, you got Wiener and Paul Yuki. I think they last time, 2024, they primaried against each other. District 6 won't have one. District 7 won't have a primary. District 8. District 9. And 9. 10 will. You have Nathan Wiesenberg and then Deb Haltis will primary against each other. Then you go to District 13 and then Gopinski and Aaron Brucker. They go primary against each other. Yeah, there's not many people will be. See, this one I thought was weird. Like, because Crystal, you'll have, and Jazeski, and they're the primary, District 19. 20, you got Jacob and Theodore Kimball. Jeremy Munson, that's 22. So in District 23, Gene won't be primary, but Angie Hansen and Jennifer Nev, Chuck Bradford, Niels Pearson, and Dan Cepeda. I think Niels ended up winning that one, that primary. Then you have in District 29, 2 Democrats will primary each other. Same thing in 38, 37, 41. Nope, they won't primary. See, this the shit that kind of, I won't say it pisses me off a little bit. But District 43 won't have, he's automatically going. He will be the rep. He don't have no competition. And there's a few like that. There is a few like that. He wasn't the only one. He goes District 44. 45 won't have a primary. 46 will. Ron Latz and Lynette Dulamog. 47. Nope. This one will. 50. Carla Holt. Amal Ibrahim. Nellie Cornett. So there's a few people running in District 50. We'll have to, it's 4 away for the primary and the Democratic. Yeah, and then you go down here. This is the one thing that pissed me off, right? So in Minneapolis, you had nobody that wanted to go up against Bobby Joe Champion. Nobody wanted to throw their hat in there. Nobody. And Marcus can't because he doesn't live in that Senate district. He lives in another one, Brooklyn Park. So that's really the reason why I didn't want him to run, because you don't live in that, you don't live in a district where I feel like we would be able to do the most good for our community. And yeah, I just seen that and I was kind of mad. There was, you know what I'm saying? Like nobody wanted to run against Bobby. Like even in 62, like all DFLers. So whoever wins the primary will win that seat. Then you have in 63, you have Diane Napper and then Zanab Muhammad. And what's crazy about this is what maybe a lot of people don't know is that the last election, her husband ran. If people don't know that, Diane Napper and Sean Holster are married. So, and this would be kind of not, I won't say like, well, she beats her, especially if she beats her bad. It'll be kind of funny because like she's beat both the husband and the wife. So, yeah, you got nobody with no last name. Natasha Bennett and Robin Gully and 65. Yeah, shit's crazy. But this is where I really want. Okay, so here's what I want to get into the districts with the A and B. So, because let's count how many people won't have. Uh, really, I don't. To be honest, they're already the winner. Nobody even cares about the election, because they have no competition. Uh, yeah, that was the crazy part for me. Because they'll have a primary. They'll have a primary. But there was somewhere like nobody there, nobody like here. 18B is open, so he'll be a rep, and that should be crazy to me. Like how are we supposed to turn like the state red or like even balance it out when you have people or parties that don't even run people in that district or that area, and it's like I don't get it. That just shows you how big of a fraction we have here in our political parties in Minnesota. Because you can't even get people to run. And I mean, I'll be honest. I understand it. I get it. I don't like my family having to do things that uh, they're not a party of, they're not part of, and they're not privy. Uh, so I understand it, and some people don't want to be threatened or even have to go through the kind of things that they would have to go through. So I get it. I'm not saying that I agree with it, but I get it. I mean, this is one of the reasons why I'm not running. It is a lot, and then I have a criminal background, and I'm so tired of explaining over and over again. So that's another reason why I won't run. It's just too much for me. And what I mean by too much is the fact that I don't want to sit here and explain and explain and explain, and then it overshadows my message or like my policies and those types of things. But like I said, I will be reaching out to Phil today because I do want to have a conversation about Derek Chauvin. I know he liked my post yesterday when I talked about it. Uh, so yeah, but I definitely do need to have a conversation with him because I do trust his word. I do trust his morals and values, and we do have uh, a lot of things that we agree on, and but there is definitely a conversation that needs to be had, and that's just me being straight up. So um, I'm hoping that it's not taken in any kind of disrespectful way because I don't mean it that way. Um, but I think comes a time where we have to stand up for what we believe in and to make other people understand it or even to be able to get it. Because maybe he doesn't know about Zoya or Jonathan Pope. I would give him the benefit of the doubt. Um, but I will tell him about Jonathan Pope and Zoya Cole because those stories do matter. And they need to be told, and people should understand that Derek Chauvin was a terror in South Minneapolis and in North Minneapolis. So I want to get into because I don't know if a lot of people knew about this or I know people will be interested. This is Mayo and Microsoft will be starting or researching, inventing, whatever you want to call it, AI in healthcare. We already know that there is some AI in healthcare, but their plan here is to breach the two together, or not breach, to put the two together so that to make it better for, I don't know, to be honest, I don't know. Because I do think it's going to get a lot further where we're not even having conversations with like a receptionist or, trying to get help. Because I do see the older people that go into the hospital and like they don't understand the kiosk where you have to, punch your name on a tablet or whatever, or, and starting to get away from a lot of that, a lot of human to human contact. And I think that is still needed in the hospital world. But to see that Microsoft and Mayo, one of the biggest hospitals in America, partner together to be able to do healthcare AI, everybody should be paying attention when you already know that Mayo is doing pig to human parts and stem cells, and also not even with just the pigs, but they're trying to make it where death is a choice. I know people probably like, what do you mean by death is a choice? So what I mean by that is that the lady who was bringing the pig to human farm is, her name is Martina Rosenblatt. She does, she was part of Sirius Radio, but she has made an AI program after her wife, so that would be able to live on. I know people were like, wait, what? I think people will just see more and more as as we get closer to 2030. I think that you will be seeing those types of things.
Sticking with healthcare, AI is already helping researchers develop drugs faster and helping doctors analyze patient data. Now, Microsoft is partnering with a giant in the medical field, the Mayo Clinic, to try and advance diagnoses and treatments. Joining us now in an exclusive interview from Microsoft Build in San Francisco is Microsoft AI CEO Mustafa Suleyman, Mayo Clinic President and CEO Dr. Gianrico Ferrugia, along with our Kate Rooney. Kate.
Melissa, thank you so much. Gentlemen, it's great to see you both. Thank you for being here on a big day for Build. So you guys announced this joint partnership. Mustafa, maybe we could start with you. And for our audience, you are sort of a household name in San Francisco in AI. You were a founder of DeepMind and sort of a founding father of this technology. What is the importance of having a exclusive AI model for healthcare? Why does it matter? And tell us a bit about this partnership.
I mean, healthcare is perhaps the most important application of AI. This is why we create AI models. We want to do the best that we can in the world, make all humans healthier and happier and live longer. And so partnering with the Mayo is a lifetime dream for me personally. It means that we're going to have access to perhaps the most valuable, the most integrated, longitudinal patient data set in the world. And I think together we'll be able to build something really incredible.
And Dr. Ferrugia, for you, I wonder how you measure success here. It's different than a lot of the Fortune 500 companies we talk to when they talk about financial metrics. The outcomes in healthcare are a bit different, but the criticism has been that the technology investment hasn't paid off. What does it look like for you? And are you seeing the actual results, positive results, and the outcomes you want based on the spending that you've had to do?
Sure. First of all, Mayo Clinic is a not-for-profit. We're driven by primary value. The needs of the patient come first. We provide outstanding care. We're rated as #1 healthcare system in the world. But we also know that most people will not have the opportunity to visit us. So for us, a big return would be if more people get access to Mayo Clinic. We have, over the past 7 years, built our Mayo Clinic platform. We can reach about 100 million people. This, working with a like-minded company like Microsoft that focuses on excellence, allows us to reach much further. And we're already seeing in some of the models we have deployed that we can see both an increase in our ability to create diagnostic efficiency, but also to reduce the burden on our staff. And therefore, that is a measurable outcome that we keep in mind, which is our patient outcomes actually better.
And Mustafa, who do you anticipate using these models? Is it for consumers? Is it, a medical question that somebody might ask about their kids, or is this really for doctors?
I mean, the number one goal here is to put the patient first and do whatever is necessary to improve patient outcomes. Sometimes that's going to mean going direct to the patient, which we will certainly do through our own Copilot Health experience, but also through the digital front door that Mayo have created. But of course, we also want to make the job of a physician easier, faster, give them more accurate information, more real-time information, improve the diagnostics that they can do too. So both sides are going to be just as important.
I think anecdotally, a lot of people probably already use ChatGPT and others,
Absolutely,
Claude,
yes.
for medical advice. I want to ask you, Mustafa, about that question of cost. And we've talked about tokens, and Uber, for example, today said that they were sort of cutting off Claude Code because it's getting so expensive. How are you balancing that at Microsoft when the cost of building on AI is so expensive? How do you manage it?
Well, I think the other way of seeing that is that usage has gone through the roof, and that's why, the demand is what's causing a constraint on supply. We're actually very proud to be the largest buyer of NVIDIA GB200s and 300s in the world. So we have an incredible capacity pool, and we know that, when we do get product market fit inside of the Mayo Clinic and many of the other hospitals, demand is going to go through the roof again. And so we're really expecting a moment where this becomes the number one place that you get access to health information.
Damn. Be ready, people, because it's coming. One way or another, it's coming. If you're not ready for it, it is going to leave you behind. I will say that. It will leave you behind. I'm going to get up out of here for today. I got Bryson Gray send me. But I want everybody to enjoy their Wednesday. Also tonight on Spaces, there will be a Spaces held about the convention over the weekend. And then also at 5 o'clock, Angela Williams and Edwin Reed will be on another podcast with Joseph Banks for sheriff. So should be an eventful night. You got that at 5, and then at 7 there is the Spaces about the Republican convention, and I'm sure some things will come up about Clickergate and come up about the moment of silence. So I'm gonna get up out of here. Here you go with Bryson Gray. Send me, and I'll see y'all tomorrow, same time, same place.
I say, never back down to run. Only in God I trust. I just wanna hit what done. After I turn to dust, I say, here I am. Lord, you can send me. I say, here I am. Lord, you can send me. His grace I cannot abuse it. He said, tell him repent, so I do it. And the narrow gon' be the fewest. Keep my salvation, I'm not trying to lose it. What is your faith if you cannot prove it? You know the fruit is how we judge a tree. What is the sin if you don't rebuke it? What is the kingdom if you do not see? Then now every man turn from his evil way and amend your deeds. And that's Jeremiah 35:15, Jeremiah 26, that's verse 3. Isaiah 50.